I'm glad for the opportunity to take a few minutes to talk to you about Fuller Seminary and some of the really significant things that have been happening here this spring. For many of you, you're aware that our Board of Trustees made a decision in May, after very careful and prayerful consideration, that we needed to change the where of Fuller from Pasadena to Pomona. That decision is a very significant one and will unfold over the next 3 years. It's an exciting and great opportunity, but it's an important series of changes. What we also became aware of was that Fuller needs to make still deeper changes in other areas as well, not just where is Fuller, but who is Fuller. And it's really the protests that happened at our baccalaureate service that brought this into sharpest relief. For months, we've been having conversations with our African-American students about their sense of injustice and their experience at Fuller of feeling as though they were excluded, that they were optional, that they weren't seen or heard or deeply enough valued. That's a very understandable response to what is really a largely white cultured institution. And while over time, Fuller has had a lot of opportunity to have diversity in its student body, it hasn't always taken the step to actually internalize the reality of those diverse voices. And that particularly includes, perhaps even especially, African-American voices. The protest that happened at Baccalaureate was, for me at least, a very painful gift. It was painful because it was an expression of such deep suffering and anguish and frustration over Fuller's inability to really significantly change. It was also an opportunity because it creates the stage for saying, okay, let's listen again, still more acutely across the whole range of the institution, from the highest levels of responsibility at Fuller all the way through every detail of Fuller's institutional life. How do we internalize what we're being asked to provide? And how do we do that in a way that is not just sufficient or representative, but actually transformative? That's what's being asked for. And I welcome that. I welcome it despite its challenges and difficulties. I welcome it. So whether it's our Board of Trustees or our faculty or our administrative staff or our staff in general or our student population, the whole reality of Fuller needs to understand the significance of the kind of change that we need to undergo in order to create for African-American students and also for other students of color an experience at Fuller that's different than they've actually had. That will require that we reset our own sense of cultural location. That will require rethinking many different things about our systems, our structures, our habits, people who are in various roles in the seminary, faculty appointments, administrative appointments, many different things. And we've detailed this in a letter that I hope you've seen posted that will give you an opportunity to see some of the specific steps that we're now prepared to take and are already taking. The significant thing that it raises up is a chance for Fuller to reset its highest ambitions. This is key. The place of race in the American church is a thorny, complicated story. And if we're not going to embrace this opportunity out of the faithfulness of African-American students and others to think seriously and more profoundly about the need for change, then we're missing the message. My commitment, our commitment as an institution is to do that solid, deep, protracted, sustained work. It's also the case that we do it not only for African-American students, but we do it in light of all students of color and all people of color that Fuller wants to serve in the future. This is to name one of our highest aspirations, that we seek to be not just a multi-denominational, but a deeply multiracial institution. That is going to be a change for Fuller. We've always been a place of racial diversity, but we haven't always been a place of racial identities that come all the way into the core of our life and culture together. This is a great chance to both repent of the mistakes that we've made and to reset our future in an exciting and positive way. That is the work that's before us. That's the work that has to be done. And I'm grateful for the opportunity that it presents, even when it comes with a great price and a great sense of difficulty that has been paid largely by our African-American students and by some other students of color and faculty of color. Let's, as Fuller, embrace this opportunity and take the steps necessary to see a new and much truer and more faithful day as we move forward into Fuller's future.